Hey everybody, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty, giving you my weekly comic book review. So sit back and enjoy. Alright everybody, for those of you that know the drill, I go over a bunch of comic books for the week that I chose to read. Now I didn't have time to read everything, so if I missed something you think I should have read, let me know in the comments below. Also, you may disagree with me on some of my choices. If that's the case, that's alright. Let me know below. Let's just try to keep it civil. My goal is to bring back the old schoolyard days, where we would be in discussing what hero could beat who or what comic book was good and not. And I come armed with my trusty notes, so you'll hear the paper rattle because I do it a little bit old school. I do my grading on a scale of 0 through 10, 7 being average as a 70%. So I'm using schoolyard grading. But that's not all. I also use the League of Comics Geeks to give you other people's views as well as a brief overview of the comic book as well. So let's jump right in. Welcome back, friends, to my weekly comic book review, and say thank you and hello to all the new people, and of course hello to all the people that have stayed with me all this time. I greatly appreciate all of you sticking through all my jokes and things like that. So we're going to jump right in to The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 63. 145 out of 163 liked it, with a 3.7 average rating on League of Comics Geeks, and I gave the book a 7. And to be honest, I think I'm being generous on this one. The writer is Justina Ireland, and artist is Gleb Minolokov. Sorry, once again, I butcher names. It's just part of what I do. Anyway, it says the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man continues, and that's one of the reasons I'm against it right off the bat. I don't like this storyline at all. Spider-Man finds himself face to face fighting all these scions of Cyttorak, if you will, and he's got 8 lives to do it. And every time he takes one out, he usually seems to die in the process. And I will say this book has decent art. And there is a nice chat that Peter has with the Black Cat in this issue. So I think that's nice. But I am ultimately not a fan at all of this entire story arc. I think giving it a 7, in my opinion, is probably giving it more than it deserves. The League of Comics Geeks tends to disagree with me. But if you look at the amount of people that have reviewed it, it says 145 out of 163. It leads me to believe that this book has shed a lot of readers since the last story arc, and it's continued not to bring them back. And the people that are staying are ones that, well, they must like this type of story, which seems to be surprising to me. Now, after that last turd of Amazing Spider-Man, I thought, let's read something that's probably going to be good. So I read The Transformers number 15. Interesting cover, and there's some alternate covers too on this. Some are pretty darn cool. 184 out of 188 like this book, with a 4.5 average rating on League of Comics Geeks, and I gave it pretty close. I gave it an 8. The writer is Daniel Warren Johnson, and artist is George Corona. Soundwave moves to finish the war with the Autobots. Yeah, he wants them taken out. And all of Earth will suffer if he gets what he wants. Meanwhile, Optimus Prime and Wheeljack search for the answers to a mystery that may change everything they knew. We have an interesting dynamic going on with Optimus Prime, as the Spark no longer has power, but he has something else inside of him now, possibly instead. This is another issue where I'm really impressed with how much heart-filled characterization they put into robots. I'm really impressed with that. And there's more action and more story building here. I think this is another solid issue. If you have not been reading Transformers, I really think you need to, especially if you're a Transformers fan. And if you never were, you still might enjoy this book as well. The next book I want to jump to is DC vs. Vampires World War V, for those of you that can't read Roman numerals, and it's issue number 5. 57 out of 61 liked it, with a 4.1 average rating, and I gave the book an 8. Now, just so you know, everybody's watching this video, I know the people that tend to support me in this channel, you knew exactly what that meant, and I was just joking. The writer is Matthew Rosenberg and Matthew Manning, and the artist is Otto Schmidt.
Green Arrow and his team successfully infiltrate the vampire stronghold, but their victory is cut short when they discover the horrifying secret that's long given vampires a lethal edge over the human resistance. And boy, is it a neat, brutal one, I must say. The truth is greater and more terrible than anything you could have possibly imagined. Yeah, and let me give you a hint, it makes a connection to the Speed Force. Yeah, this is, I have to say, a fun issue. The art is okay. One thing you do learn here is do not get a vampire Barda mad. Barda mad is bad enough. When she's a vampire, it's probably even worse. There's a sneak attack in this issue. It's great, but one thing I can say is, man, poor Wally West. If you've been wondering what happened to Wally in this universe, boy, do we find out. And Constantine's going to get a little bit of neck pain in this issue as well. If you haven't been reading this one and you like this kind of thing, these off-worlds, different stories, I think you're going to enjoy this. I've been enjoying this series, and you just may as well. The next issue I want to talk about is going to bring us back to the rich and wealthy with Batman and Robin number 16. But you know what? Before I get into that, I want to mention we are at that holiday season. Please do not think that you have to spend yourself into debt to buy people gifts to make them happy. This is a common time of year where people overspend and spend well beyond their means. Do not spend beyond your means. That's key. Now, I do have supporters here of this channel, and I appreciate every one of you. And if you want to help out this channel, you can do that as well. But only help if you can support it financially and not put yourself in any hardship. You have to learn to take care of yourself first before you can take care of others. That's not greed. One of the things you may want to consider doing is, if you haven't already, you need to have a budget. Get yourself out of debt. And if you haven't considered it, maybe look into what you can. Probably be a good idea to talk to a financial advisor about this to get all the help if you don't understand how this works. But look into some dividend giving stocks. Look into some of these funds that tend to give out monthly dividends, and you can invest in that slowly to build up not only your retirement, but can use some of that money every month. You can be taking that to help you pay off debt if you have debt, or keep you in a more comfortable situation. So that way you can get wealth like Bruce Wayne. With that said, Batman and Robin number 16, 139 out of 149 liked it with a 4.2 average rating on League of Comics Geeks, and I gave the book a 7.5. As usual, not as high as they do, but I gave it a pretty solid score. Writers Philip Kennedy Johnson, artists Carmen de Giamandencio, and Miguel Mendocia, which once again I butcher names. As a dynamic duo attempts to solve the mysteries of Memento's recent attacks, Batman begins to fear that his bond with his son and partnering is beginning to fracture. Yeah, we get some more in-depth with Damian here as he's pulling away from his duties as Robin. But why is that? It's an interesting art style, I think, that fits this story well. I might not like this art style in every Batman story, but for some reason for this one it works. I also think it's an interesting story. I'm liking it. Good character development in this one, and especially for somebody that used to never care for Damian at all. It's bringing some character in him. I'm enjoying this character. I can't believe I said that. Also, about the financial stuff I mentioned earlier. If you want a little help, I cannot take any pay for giving you legal advice there. I wouldn't do that, but legal advice, I mean fiscal, financial policy advice. Don't be afraid to contact me and ask me a few simple questions. Maybe I can help guide you a little bit. We're all in this together.
Hey guys, today's video is sponsored by My Wallet. Yeah, I'm not trying to push any kind of wallet or pimp any wallet out. What I mean is it's sponsored by my personal wallet and the cash that comes out of it to pay for these things. If you want to help with this, you can hit like, subscribe, that notification bell. Those are great ways to get started. But if you find yourself in a position where you can help the channel more, we have a Patreon and a subscribe star down below that you can click on those links. And for as little as $1 a month, you'll have special videos and things to just you, music that you can get. Or maybe if you wanted to, a one-time donation just to help out, we have a Streamlabs link down below. Or we also have, if you go to the Patreon shop, you could buy a song for like $3. I wish I could put them a little lower, but that's the minimum they allow for that. So there's lots of options. Sometimes you might even see an Amazon link. If you want to buy anything through Amazon, click on my link first, then go through there. That'll give me a couple pennies, possibly that way too as well. So there's lots of ways you can help out the channel, because without you, it would not be possible. So thank you, everybody. And let's get back to the video.
You know, it's not easy being green, so let's jump to Green Lantern number 18. Yeah, got my little puns and humor all in there. Why not? 123 out of 147 liked it with a 3.7 average rating on League of Comics Geeks, and I gave this book a 7.4. Writers Jeremy Adams and artist Zira Montecchio, which I'm sorry, dude, I butchered your name. Yep. So we have more of the continuous big epic battle in this issue from the last one, with only Hal Jordan and the other Lanterns are there to stop this Theros character. Also, Kyle Rayner uncovers the secret of the Source Lantern as Varian moves to gain its power for his own. Can the Green Lanterns stop this? Can they stop and put a new situation back into order? Well, in a way, but let's talk about this. On top of that, we get Kilowog. Yes, Kilowog is back. Awesome. There's good art in this issue. Really, this whole issue is just one big war, which, it's a lot of action, a lot of fun. This is the end of the story arc. So if you were waiting to read Green Lantern and you didn't want to buy in and buy the back issues, probably next issue would be a good starting point for you. And talking about back issues, I just thought I'd share this because if you are interested in back issues and getting them at a decent price and having a little fun doing so and can support your fellow YouTubers, the channel I Love Comics does auctions of comic books, and you can get some good deals on some great comics and get some good commentary and listen to a lot of fun stuff at the same time. They're great people. Help support them in that channel if you don't mind, and maybe pick yourself up some comic books that you'll enjoy as well. This next issue I decided to pull up is one I wasn't aware of. I just happened to see it there, so I said, hey, I'm going to give this a shot because I liked everything else so far that I've read recently. And that's Ultimate Universe, 1 year in, issue number 1. 517 out of 532 liked it with a 4.5 average rating, which means I think a lot of other people said, ooh, something else in the Ultimate Universe, and it has Nick Fury on the cover. How cool is that? Now, I will say there, I gave the book a 7.2. Not as high as they did. That doesn't mean I didn't like the book, though. Okay. Writer's Chris Condon, writer is Dens Camp as well, and artist is Alessandro Cappuccio, which I'm butchering him today, and Jonas Sheriff. The clock is ticking down to the Maker's arrival. Dens Camp flips the narrative on the Ultimates and takes us inside of the Maker's console here. The heroes of the Ultimate Universe aren't the only ones who've been preparing for the return of the Maker. Yes, this unique one-shot sets the stage for the second year of the Ultimate line and includes the debut of the Ultimate versions of 2 major Marvel characters. We get some decent art in this issue. We get a decent story, too. The only kicker is I think it's a little predictable. What I have is Nick Fury here. He's woken up to what's going on and what he took part in to help the Maker, and now he wants to undo it. So he plans to blow up all these people with him and take out a large portion of the Maker, well, actually all of his console, and take them out. Problem is, sadly, the Maker's one step ahead of them. They knew it, and seems to be a common issue. I'm not going to get into what happens here because I think this is a good one to read if you were into this Ultimate story and what's going on. But boy, does it tell you they have a lot of control. And will we see more of this Nick Fury in the future? Will he end up joining Ultimates? I don't know. Something is going to happen eventually, right? Or maybe not. But if you're a fan of classic Nick Fury, you might enjoy this, even though it's in an alternate reality. This next issue I want to talk about, I had a little bit of high hopes for it, but this one disappointed me just a little bit. It's nothing terrible, but it's just not as high of quality as I expected. And that's Spirits of Vengeance, issue number 4. 24 out of 29 liked it with a 3.5 average rating, which is leading me to believe that people are dwindling off of this one too. I think maybe the story is just moving too slow. I don't know. But the writer is Sabir Pirazada, which I butchered that. Artist is Brian Lavelle and Sean Damian Hill. Baptism by Fires. Johnny Blaze is still learning to live with this new normal, but you really don't see any of that difference here. After the events of Ghost Rider Final Vengeance, something new and sinister has begun to stir. That we do get to see. Something more bloodthirsty than anything Johnny Blaze has ever known. Something that eats souls and spirits alike. And it's hungry. And here we go. We do get some interesting backstory on this newer Vengeance character. The art, in my opinion, could really be better. I think when you have a character like this, you have to have top tier art to make Ghost Rider look good. The story progression in this issue was pretty slow, though. And I think really what hurts it is slow story and mid-level art just didn't quite do enough. When you have these miniseries, you've got to knock them all the ballpark to keep people check them out and they continue reading. Otherwise, they're probably going to check out on those. And let's talk about another one. The last one I want to talk about this month in my weekly comic review. And that's the Incredible Hulk, issue number 20. I thought the cover looked pretty cool, so that attracted me to it. I've been reading this series. 78 out of 82 liked it with a 4 average rating. I gave the book a 7.1. I've noticed it seems like the reviewers are going down, which I think that means that people are getting a little tired of this type of Hulk story. As you know, Hulk goes in sort of seasons of different types and versions of the character. Like when he was a rocket ship, which I didn't care for that version at all. And this one's been back on the horror track for a long time. Not quite the unkillable one that we had there, right? The Immortal Hulk, but a different spin on it. I think people are wanting to maybe get a little something different. The writer is Philip Kennedy Johnson, artist is Danny Earls. And we have wolves at the door. Now, I did appreciate this wolf storyline. In the aftermath of Banner and Charlie's dramatic escape from Las Vegas, they're back on the road and lying low. And so Banner thinks they are anyway. But Charlie goes off, of course, on her own at night because she wants to play around with her newfound powers. And then she's found by none other than the werewolf by night, who warns her about the consequences of what she has done and what she is becoming and what it might lead to. Meanwhile, though, the Hulk is hunted down by one of those exact consequences we were just talking about. And it's one of the oldest, most powerful creatures supposedly on Earth, the Immortal Wolf Demon. Yeah, the Immortal Wolf Demon. What is it? Verkalak, whatever his name is. And here's the thing. The cover I thought was pretty cool. It definitely attracted me to this issue. It's got some alternate covers I don't care about, but the cover's good. But the art inside is, it's okay. It's mediocre. I like how they actually draw the wolves, but I don't like how the artist draws anything else. This is a fast read, and it has a lot of quick story progression. So if you're into this dark side of Hulk, you're probably going to like this. If you're getting tired of these dark stories of Hulk, you're probably going to want to sway away from this one. But I'm interested to see this werewolf and Hulk thing getting together. So I gave it a 7.1. Nothing terrible, just mediocre, just okay. So nothing wrong with that. Okay, once in a while. Well, there you have it. Hopefully you found this video more than okay. If you did, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you want to help continue to support this channel, as I said, only if you can financially handle that, go ahead and do that. And if you want a little couple tips and things or just some insight, don't be afraid to ask me for an opinion. Okay, I'll be happy to give you an opinion any way I can try to help you at all. Thank you, everybody in this community. I appreciate all of you, and I want you all to do well and to be well. Until next time, friends, keep it frugal.